He looked right at me, my own brother, and said the words like he was doing me a favor. "Don't show up. You'll ruin everything." It wasn't a joke. Not a warning. Just a flat-out command. Like I was some kind of threat to the perfect little image he was building around Mom's birthday party. And maybe I was. But not in the way he thought. Hi, I'm Elena Jameson. I'm 29. Software engineer. Introvert. The quiet one in a very loud, very curated family. You know the type. Champagne brunches, matching outfits, a group chat titled #LegacyGoals. And somehow I never fit. Before we continue, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell for updates. For Mom's 60th birthday, they were planning this huge event. Rented venue, flower walls, signature cocktails. And me? I wasn't on the list. Brandon, my brother, made that pretty clear. I didn't argue. I didn't cry. I didn't even tell anyone what I was working on. Because I didn't need to be seen. I just needed one moment. One story. One truth to land harder than any toast they'd ever give. And when it hit everywhere. So I stayed quiet. But what happened that night made more noise than anyone could have prepared for. Have you ever been disinvited from your own mother's birthday? I don't mean forgotten. I mean strategically removed. Like you're the smudge they're photoshopping out of the family portrait. It happened 3 days before the party. Brandon called me. Said he wanted to check in, which already raised a red flag. My brother doesn't check in. He checks boxes. He eased into it with fake concern. Hey, I know you've got a lot going on, and the party might be overwhelming. You probably wouldn't enjoy it anyway. Translation: you don't fit the brand. I stayed quiet. Let him keep going. It's going to be really elegant, you know? A lot of important people. Investors. Mom's social scene. It just needs to look tight. Tight. That word stuck with me. I asked him, straight up, "You're saying I shouldn't come, right?" There was this long pause. And then he said it. "I just think your presence would complicate things. You'd ruin the vibe." He actually said that. Not because I've ever caused drama. Not because I've ever embarrassed anyone. But because I don't wear heels, I don't post thirst traps, and I built my life in silence, not on likes. I didn't argue. I just nodded, even though he couldn't see it. And I said the most dangerous thing I could say. Okay. But I wasn't backing down. I was just backing up. Because while Brandon was rehearsing his big speech for the cameras, I was preparing something else. And what came next would flip everything they thought they controlled. What do you do when you're told you don't belong? Some people cry. Some beg. Me? I got to work. The day of the party was warm and golden, like the universe was staging a perfect scene for the perfect lie. Somewhere across the city, guests were arriving in tailored suits and designer gowns. The champagne was chilling. Brandon was probably double-checking the lighting. And me? I was sitting on my floor, barefoot, hair a mess, finalizing the paperwork to sell my company. No confetti. No applause. Just me and a notification that would change my life. Focus Nest Incorporated. Transfer confirmed. Acquisition total: $9.3 million. $9.3 million. Let that number sink in. The same brother who said I'd ruin everything? 2 months ago, he called my app a cute little hobby. Said no one wanted another calendar tool. He didn't know I'd locked in a licensing deal with 2 major productivity platforms. Didn't know I'd been in talks with FutureDesk for weeks. And he definitely didn't know the sale would be announced that night. But someone else did. Because while Brandon was busy performing for party guests, a journalist at the party, Claire Monroe, refreshed her feed and saw the headline. Quiet genius. Local woman sells app startup for $9.3 million. Guess who that woman was? And guess who she used to babysit? Claire knew exactly who I was. And in the middle of Brandon's perfect little speech, she opened her mouth. What she said next? It turned the whole party upside down. Have you ever watched someone's lie unravel in real time? Claire Monroe did it with just one sentence. She was standing near the bar, half listening to Brandon ramble through his speech, something about legacy, family strength, yada yada. Then her phone buzzed. She glanced at it, and stopped smiling. She tilted the screen toward her friend and whispered, "Wait, this is Elena, right? Elena Jameson." Her voice wasn't loud, but it didn't have to be. The room had that fragile, glassy silence parties get when everyone's pretending to listen. And then she said it. Elena just sold her startup for $9 million. Why isn't she here? Like a match to dry paper. I wasn't even in the room, but I could feel the tension like a wire snapping. Guests started whispering. Someone Googled it on their phone. Someone else texted me a screenshot. Within minutes, I was the main event, and I hadn't even been invited. Mom looked confused at first. Then her face fell. Her eyes locked on Brandon. "What is this?" she asked. Her voice was low. "Dangerous." Brandon tried to talk. Tried to laugh it off. "It's not a big deal." She didn't tell anyone. That was his mistake. Because the silence he had once used to erase me, it now made me unforgettable. And as the murmurs turned to gasps and phones lit up around them, my mother said something I never thought I'd hear. "Get her on the phone. What do you say to the woman who let you disappear for years and only noticed when the world forced her to?" "Nothing. You let her speak first." The morning after the party, my phone lit up with missed calls. Most I ignored, but one stood out. "Mom." No voicemail. Just a text. "Call me when you can. I'm sorry." I sat there staring at it for longer than I want to admit. Part of me wanted to delete it, block the number, move on with my new chapter. But something in that message, it wasn't polished. It wasn't wrapped in PR language like her usual apologies. It felt real. So I called. She asked to meet alone. No cameras. No filters. We met at a small cafe downtown. No staff. No brand deals. Just her and me, sitting across from each other like we hadn't done in years. She didn't cry, but her voice cracked when she said, "I didn't know. I let Brandon talk me into thinking you weren't proud of us. That you didn't care." I told her, I just stopped needing to prove anything. And she nodded, eyes low. "You didn't ruin the party. You became the only thing anyone wanted to talk about." Then, as we stood up to leave, someone from another table walked over. "Excuse me," they said. "You're Elena, right? From Focus Nest? Can I get a photo?" I smiled. Mom just stood there, stunned. Not because of the recognition, but because it was the first time she'd seen me truly seen. And what came next wasn't about apologies. It was about legacy. They say silence is weakness. But sometimes, silence is the loudest weapon in the room. I didn't need to crash the party. I didn't need to show up with a speech, a dress, or a desperate need to be accepted. I just needed results. The kind you don't brag about, the kind that do the bragging for you. In the days after the party, my name was everywhere. Podcasts called. Investors DM'd me. Articles ran with headlines like "The Founder They Ignored" and "Elena Jameson, the Silent Success." Mom? She started introducing me to people as her brilliant daughter who changed the game. And Brandon? He went quiet. Suddenly, the golden boy had no mic. No speech. No spotlight. Because everyone was too busy asking him why his sister wasn't invited in the first place. But I didn't clap back. I didn't gloat. That would have ruined the whole point. See, the best revenge? Is being undeniable. So here's my question to you. Have you ever let someone think you were nothing while you were building everything behind the scenes? Have you ever been told to stay quiet and then watched the world scream your name instead? If so, tell me your story in the comments. Let's make some noise for the ones they tried to silence. Because silence doesn't mean weakness. It means you were saving your voice. For the moment it would echo everywhere.